Tonight we're doing the thing every fan swears they hate but secretly binge at 2 a.m. The Doom List. 5 NHL teams that in the 2025-26 season look less like we've got a plan and more like we've got a Pinterest board and a prayer. This isn't about history, banners, or vibes. This is about right now. Standings, goal differential, injuries, systems, and those late-night games where you can literally feel a season slipping through the TV. Before we point and gasp, quick promise, I'm not dunking on your childhood. I'm talking to you like a friend who will tell you there's spinach in your teeth before you meet the in-laws. We cool? All right. Tape your twig, grab something stress-proof to chew, and let's name names. How we're calling Doomed. We're not being dramatic for clicks. Okay, maybe a little. Doomed here means this. You're bottoming out in the standings, your goal differential is screaming for help, the models have your playoff odds in single digits or free fall, the roster construction makes no sense, or your injuries turned your top 6 into a group chat. If any 2 of those are true, welcome to the danger zone. If 3 are true, the danger zone is doing a conga line through your living room. Ready? 5 teams, 5 different kinds of disaster. Let's go. Nashville Predators, rock bottom with no quick fix. What it feels like. You moved the couch, found an old Cheeto, a 2017 fidget spinner, and your offense. The receipts? Bottom of the NHL by points percentage. Dead last in scoring, goal differential already a canyon. You know how some teams lose 2-1 and you squint and say they're close? Nashville loses 4-1 and you say, do we have a puck problem or an everything problem? The numbers aren't just bad, they're clingy. They won't leave. Identity crisis. Are they rebuilding, retooling, collecting vintage low-danger chances? The aging core is creaking, the big contracts aren't driving play, and early hopes that a couple of new faces could juice the attack fizzled. When local talk shifts from hot streak incoming to we're open for business by the deadline, that's not a mood swing, that's a strategy pivot. The Stamkos question. Look, I love the guy, you love the guy, but 4 goals and a whisper through 20-ish games is not the plotline you storyboarded in July. He was supposed to be the adult in the room holding a flamethrower. So far, it's been a birthday candle in the wind. Can it turn? Only if 2 things happen at once. The power play wakes up like it owes rent, and a young forward pops above his card and stays there. Short of that, this looks like a classic sell-off season. If you're a Preds fan, start scouting other teams' prospect pools like you're shopping for a new couch. Tiny joke for your soul. If the Preds offense was a Spotify playlist, it'd be called Acoustic Silence Extended Cut. Too soon? Yeah, sorry. Calgary Flames, stuck in the middle, sinking anyway. What it feels like. You're on a treadmill stuck at 7 miles per hour, sweating through a hoodie, and the gym manager keeps turning the incline up. The receipts? Last in the Pacific by the quarter mark, goal differential deep in the red, one of the worst goals per game marks in the league. And a power play that politely declines to shoot. When you're 31st in offense and 31st on the man advantage, you're basically handing out gift bags to goaltenders. Here's a low-danger muffin and a free confidence boost. Context hurts. The division isn't exactly handing out wild card coupons. Vegas can win in second gear, Seattle's structure ages you, and LA will beat you 2-1 while you're still tying your skates. Calgary needs a heater to sniff the bubble, like 12-2-1 kind of heater. Does this roster have that in it? Do you feel that in your bones? Or in your chiropractor bill? What's broken? Shot volume without shot quality. Too many point wristers asking politely to be saved. A PP that looks like 5 guys trying to pair Bluetooth. And when the offense does show up, the breakdowns at the other end punch holes in the bucket. Can it turn? You'd need a coach to throw out the entire power play playbook, a top 6 winger to go nuclear, and the goalies to put up a month of 920 while eating rush chances for lunch. That's not impossible, it's just a lot. And time is not your friend. Coach troll question for Flames fans. If the power play had a theme song, would it be Fix You or Sound of Silence? Be honest. St. Louis Blues, the house with a leak in every room. What it feels like. You patch the roof and the basement floods. You fix the basement and the dishwasher explodes. You fix the dishwasher and the cat learns to open the door and leave. The receipts. A bottom of the West record vibe, one of the worst goal differentials in the league, and special teams that turn every whistle into a coin toss you keep losing. The penalty kill has been flirting with the 60s and 70s percentages like it's prom night. Meanwhile, the giveaways, especially in the D zone, are setting up opposing teams with appetizer, entree, and dessert. The tandem trouble. Binnington and Hofer are posting save percentages that start with .86 and .87 way too often. That's not bad night, that's bad pattern. And when both are underwater on goals saved above expected, it stops being about one guy's slump and becomes about the environment plus the technique plus the confidence all melting at once. Structure, or lack thereof. The neutral zone is a welcome mat. Inside the dots, pucks bouncing off sticks like the blade is allergic. If you watch 5 minutes of a Blues second period this year, you're watching a stress test on everyone's cardiovascular system. They're chasing. The mean but fair line. Last season's late surge tricked a lot of people into thinking the engine was fine. It wasn't. You coasted on fumes and luck. This is the bill. Can it turn? Yes, if the PK gets dragged to league average, the D-zone clears pucks with urgency, and your goalies bring you .905 for a month. Is that a big ask? Not really. Is it happening yet? Not really. And that's the doom. Fan therapy prompt. Name 3 things you trust about this team night to night. If you got past 1, I'm impressed. Florida Panthers. Dynasty derailed by surgery schedules. What it feels like. You built a tank and went through 3 wars. It still starts, but now the engine coughs, and the turret squeaks, and the driver has a torn labrum. The receipts. Back-to-back champs, chasing a three-peat, and then the injury avalanche hit like, well, a hurricane. Early on, their record hovered around .500. Road form looked sleepy, and the defensive metrics fell from steel door to screen door. The injuries aren't day-to-day, they're, we'll reevaluate in months. The body count. Your captain sidelined long-term after major knee surgery. Your emotional battery, hi Kachuk, coming back slow from groin surgery. Multiple depth pieces out, a top 4 guy nicked up, literal dozens of man games lost before Americans finished their Halloween candy. That's not bad luck, that's fate writing your script in permanent marker. The vibe shift. Once, teams dreaded the Panthers' forecheck like tax season. Now they're finding seams, getting odd-man rushes, and the Cats' team save percentage is hanging out in the 880s too often for comfort. The PK is wobbling into the 70s. You can't three-peat when your boring hard defense turns into high-event chaos. Here's the uncomfortable truth. Even if the Panthers claw back into a playoff spot, the journey to get there drains your batteries. Then you're asking surgery return guys to switch from 0 to legendary in a week. That's not a plan, that's a fairy tale. A beautiful one, but still. Can it turn? Sure. This roster, when even semi-healthy, can grind a 10-3 stretch out of thin air. The question isn't could they, it's what's left when they do. If you win the mileage award 3 seasons in a row, the tires pop. If they miss the playoffs, it's injuries. If they make it and fizzle, it's mileage. Either way, compared to a three-peat dream, that's doom. Half spicy, half loving joke. If anyone can spite the injury gods, it's this team, but even spite runs out of gas on a 6-game road trip. Toronto Maple Leafs, death by defense. Again. What it feels like. The soundtrack is loud, the stars shine, the jersey sales boom, and a Tuesday in November ends 6-4 because nobody boxed out the back post. Stop me if you've heard this one. The receipts. 9 straight playoff appearances on the line while the early season table keeps them near the Atlantic's basement. A negative goal differential, and the grisliest stat, goals against per game ballooning from top 10 last year to league worst neighborhood this year. If you give up almost 4 a night, you need McDavid on each line. Toronto has elite scorers, but not 6 of them. The personnel fail chain. Your blue line started the year already thin, then injuries punched holes in it. Key defenders missed time. Depth guys had to cosplay as top pair guys. Meanwhile, the goaltending carousel spun like a county fair ride. Inconsistency, injuries, leaves of absence, and a whole lot of who's starting tonight. If your answer to do we have a starter is, your answer to are we doomed gets clearer. The identity problem. Are the Leafs a juggernaut offense that wins 5-3, or a balanced team that locks down a 3-2? They're stuck halfway. The power play misses a certain playmaker's deception. The breakout is a little too cute under pressure. The slot is a little too open when it matters. Opponents are walking into the house in muddy boots and nobody's yelling, "Shoes off!" Coach-scented frustration. When a bench boss says he's tired of the top guys searching for chemistry in November, that's a smoke alarm. Leaders lead when the structure breaks. If your stars aren't dragging games across the finish line while the D heals, the standings drag you. Can it turn? Of all 5 on this list, yes, this one can snap the fastest. One competent, healthy month from the blue line, one goaltender giving you 9-10, and the stars will do the rest. But that's also why it's scary. The window is shrinking in real time. You don't get infinite do-overs in a cap league. Missing the playoffs would be a meltdown. Squeaking in and getting trucked in round 1 feels only slightly less doomed. Leaf fans, group therapy prompt: would you rather miss the playoffs and finally force the franchise to do surgery, or make it, win one series, and reset the same movie for next year? No wrong answers, plenty of pain either way. The controversial lightning round. AKA, I can feel you typing. But what about insert team? Sure, honorable mention time. Vancouver's underlying numbers wobble sometimes. San Jose fights gravity nightly. Chicago's rebuild will still have nights where you question reality. And Utah/Winnipeg sit in the everything has to break right bin. The difference? Their narratives aren't as loud, their expectations are different, and their doom is obvious enough that it's not interesting. Doom with stakes is what we're after, and the 5 above are the spiciest mix of stakes and structural yikes. Why do teams get doomed? It's rarely one thing. It's a Jenga tower. Pull out health, pull out depth, pull out special teams. Suddenly, a normal week turns into a 5-game skid that tanks playoff odds by 20%. Offense is streaky. Defense is a habit. If your habits stink, so will your winter. If you want the cheat sheet, here it is. If your 5-on-5 expected goals against spikes and your goalie isn't bailing water, doom. If your power play is under 15% and your penalty kill is under 75%, doom. If your top 6 is out and your bottom 6 is vibes, doom. If your goal differential is double digits in the red by U.S. Thanksgiving, doom with a capital D. Fan questions to make you yell politely. Which team on this list upsets me the most? Florida, because injury stole a potentially legendary three-peat arc. Don't at me, you feel it too. Which team gets off this list first? Toronto, if the crease calms down. Florida, if 2 stars return sooner than expected. St. Louis, if the PK stops hemorrhaging. Calgary, if the power play finds a pulse. Nashville is probably selling at the deadline. Which team will still be here in February? I'll let you decide that in the comments so I can read and cry. Closing shift. How to watch a doomed team without losing your mind. Pick one thing per game and root for it. A clean exit count, a power play entry success rate, a net front win tally. Doom feels less inevitable when you track improvements, and if the front office finally admits reality and sells, that's not the end, that's the start of a better one. All right, your turn. Which of these 5 do you think I'm criminally wrong about? Which team did I leave off that belongs in doom jail? Which fan base is already crafting a quote tweet with "This aged well" for when their team rattles off 8 straight? Drop your takes. Swing, but swing smart. And hey, if your team's on this list, I'm still watching tonight. You are too. That's the thing about this sport. Doom is loud, but so are turnarounds. We'll see you on the next shift.